Many people experience a strange, hard-to-explain unease when interacting with Sigma males. Even without any signs of overt hostility or ill intentions, Sigma males are often labeled as rude, aloof, or even disrespectful. The reaction is rarely based on anything they say or do directly. Rather, it stems from something deeper, something that clashes with social expectations in subtle but powerful ways. Sigma males tend to operate outside the conventional script of social engagement. They're not interested in superficial pleasantries, unwritten rules of behavior, or the usual performances people engage in to appear agreeable. As a result, their presence can disrupt the normal flow of social interaction, leaving others feeling unsettled or confused. While most individuals function within a structure of politeness and societal conformity, saying the right things, smiling at the right moments, and offering expected emotional cues, Sigma males operate differently. They follow their own internal logic and sense of truth, which often doesn't align with what the world expects of them. This doesn't mean they're trying to be difficult or provocative. They're simply uninterested in playing games they find meaningless or insincere. They don't fake interest, exaggerate emotions, or offer flattery just to blend in. That refusal to conform to the social dance can be jarring for people who are used to constant affirmation and social feedback. The reason behind this behavior lies in the Sigma male's core psychological traits. They score low on social conformity and high on internal validation. In other words, they don't rely on external approval to determine their self-worth. They aren't seeking validation from others. They aren't concerned with fitting into predetermined roles or meeting collective expectations. Their sense of identity is rooted in personal values, intellectual integrity, and inner autonomy. To them, being true to themselves is far more important than being liked or accepted by the crowd. However, this strong inner focus often results in misunderstandings. Others may interpret their quiet confidence as arrogance, their minimal emotional expression as coldness, and their preference for solitude as dismissiveness. The world often reacts with discomfort to what it doesn't understand. And the Sigma male, by simply being himself, inadvertently becomes a source of that discomfort. This piece explores the deeper psychology behind the Sigma male's behavior and unpacks 7 specific ways in which they often unintentionally offend others. It will examine how these behaviors deviate from social norms, why they provoke negative reactions, and what fundamental beliefs drive the Sigma male to live life according to a code that often sets them apart from the rest of society. 1. They don't care if you like them and you feel it. The unsettling indifference of Sigma males. There's a strange tension that arises when you encounter someone who simply doesn't care whether or not you like them. In most social situations, people instinctively put effort into being agreeable, smiling, nodding, offering compliments, whether to gain approval or just to keep the interaction smooth. But when you're with a Sigma male, that comforting reciprocity can be completely absent. Sigma males exude a quiet, unwavering indifference to others' opinions. It's not coldness in a malicious sense, nor is it arrogance. It's simply a matter-of-fact detachment. They are not playing the same social game that others are. To them, as long as they aren't doing harm, they owe no emotional labor in proving their likability. This radical self-containment can feel like a subtle rejection. People are often offended not because a Sigma male is rude, but because he doesn't mirror the expected social cues. He doesn't try to make others feel liked, and in turn, that absence of effort makes people feel unimportant or dismissed. In group environments, offices, family dinners, social events, this lack of social smoothing is particularly noticeable. Others may find it difficult to trust or relate to someone who doesn't seem invested in social harmony. Yet from a deeper, even philosophical lens, the Sigma male's indifference can be seen as a form of integrity. As Emerson famously wrote, "To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment." Sigma males live by this ethos, refusing to alter themselves for shallow acceptance. Their behavior becomes a mirror, unintentionally forcing others to question their own dependency on being liked. 2. They stare too deeply, like they're analyzing your soul. The intensity of a Sigma male's gaze. There's something disarming, even unsettling, about the way Sigma males look at people. While most individuals engage in conversation with socially measured glances and comfortable eye contact, Sigma males often hold a gaze that feels uncomfortably intense. It's not aggressive or confrontational, but it carries weight, like they're looking through you rather than at you. This deep, unflinching eye contact isn't a tactic to intimidate. It's an extension of how they process the world. With depth, focus, and curiosity, their gaze isn't just seeing your face, it's reading you. Sigma males tend to scan for subtle cues, the micro shift in expression, the pauses in speech, the tone behind the words. For them, surface-level conversation isn't enough. They listen for what's not being said, picking up on inconsistencies or emotional undercurrents that most people miss. This hyper-awareness can make a simple exchange feel more like an internal audit. It can leave people feeling exposed, even if nothing explicit was said. This discomfort often stems from unfamiliarity. Most social interactions operate on a kind of unspoken agreement to keep things light and non-intrusive. But Sigma males don't abide by that contract. They engage on their terms, and that usually means going deeper than others are prepared for. The emotional discomfort many feel is less about the Sigma male and more about being seen without their usual social defenses. From a Jungian perspective, this reaction is significant. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." The Sigma male's intense gaze acts as a mirror, reflecting parts of ourselves we may prefer to hide. In a world filled with facades and performance, being truly seen, even silently, can feel like a threat. 3. They ignore your status if you haven't earned their respect. The Sigma male's merit-based respect system. In most social and professional environments, status functions like an invisible currency. People instinctively show respect to those with titles, fame, wealth, or authority, whether or not that person has demonstrated any admirable qualities. It's part of the unspoken code of hierarchy. A boss gets more deference than a subordinate, a celebrity more admiration than a stranger. But Sigma males operate outside of the social script. They do not offer automatic respect to someone simply because society tells them to. For the Sigma male, every individual begins on equal footing, and what determines whether they rise in his regard isn't their resume, it's their character. Sigma males approach interactions with firm belief in earned respect, not inherited or institutionalized status. They can be perfectly polite and civil to anyone, but they won't fake admiration or submission to those who haven't shown themselves worthy. Whether someone is a CEO, a social media influencer, or a government official, a Sigma male will address them with the same level of calm neutrality he would offer a stranger. What matters is personal merit, authenticity, competence, consistency, and integrity. If those qualities aren't present, the status means nothing. This mindset can deeply unsettle people who are used to being treated with deference. Individuals who rely on their title or social standing to command attention and compliance often interpret the Sigma male's neutral treatment as a sign of disrespect. When a Sigma refuses to be impressed or intimidated by position alone, it strips away the illusion of superiority that many have wrapped their identities in. It levels the playing field, something that feels like a threat to those who have built their self-worth on being seen as above others. Maya Angelou's timeless wisdom, "When people show you who they are, believe them the first time," mirrors the Sigma male's approach perfectly. He doesn't judge based on reputation or rank. He watches actions, listens to behavior, and evaluates character. And until someone proves themselves, their accolades hold no weight in his world. 4. They stay off the grid on purpose. The Sigma male's love of privacy. In today's hyper-connected society, visibility has become the norm. People routinely share their meals, travels, relationships, and opinions online, inviting the world into their private lives. Oversharing is often viewed as a form of connection or validation, a way to bond and be seen. Against this backdrop, the Sigma male's intentional absence from the spotlight stands out sharply. He does not announce his moves, post his feelings, or update the world on his every step. Instead, he chooses silence, ambiguity, and privacy as the preferred modes of existence. Ask a Sigma male what he did last weekend, and he'll likely respond with a shrug or a non-answer. Ask where he works or who he's dating, and you might get a vague response, or no answer at all. This is an evasion out of hostility or arrogance. Rather, It reflects a conscious decision to maintain control over his life narrative. Sigma males are fiercely protective of their inner world. They believe that not everything needs to be shared, and not everyone deserves access to their personal thoughts or routines. This quiet discretion, however, often frustrates others. In most human relationships, people expect a certain degree of openness as a way to build trust and connection. When someone remains closed off or private, others may interpret it in negative ways. Some feel distrusted, wondering if the Sigma male's silence means they're not valued enough to be let in. Others view it as secrecy, suspecting that he must be hiding something. Still others simply label it as antisocial behavior, an unwillingness to act normal and engage. But none of these interpretations truly capture the Sigma male's intent. His privacy isn't a wall, it's a boundary. He values freedom from scrutiny, unsolicited opinions, and unnecessary drama. By keeping his personal life close to the chest, he maintains a sense of peace and autonomy. His quietness isn't meant to exclude, it's meant to protect. In a world that thrives on constant exposure, the Sigma male's refusal to broadcast himself is a quiet act of rebellion and self-respect. 5. They take charge without being asked. The Sigma male's natural leadership style. In group situations where direction is unclear and decisions are delayed, most people fall into familiar roles. Some avoid responsibility, others wait for a designated leader, and many simply go along with the crowd to avoid conflict. Amid this uncertainty, Sigma males often stand out. Not because they assert dominance, but because they take decisive action when it becomes clear that no one else will. Their leadership style is quiet, instinctive, and based on necessity rather than ambition. They don't seek out control, but if a task is floundering or progress is being blocked by indecision, they'll step in, take the reins, and move things forward without asking for permission. This behavior contrasts sharply with the alpha male's desire for status and recognition. While alphas lead command attention and affirm their dominance, Sigma males lead to solve problems and restore function. Their goal isn't authority, it's efficiency. They see disorganization as wasted energy, and if they're capable of cutting through the noise to bring clarity and momentum, they will do so. There's no dramatic announcement, no need to be acknowledged as the leader. They simply act. However, this assertive behavior often rubs others the wrong way. Some view it as arrogance, assuming the Sigma male thinks he's better or more capable than everyone else. Others take offense at the apparent disregard for roles and titles, especially in environments where hierarchy is tightly observed. The fact that the Sigma didn't ask for input or wait for a formal vote can be interpreted as overstepping, or even as a challenge to authority. People who value structured decision-making and collective consensus may feel bypassed or undermined. But the Sigma's intentions are rarely personal. He isn't trying to outshine others or make a power grab. He simply sees a job that needs doing and does it. If someone complains, he's often willing to step aside and let them take over, revealing whether their frustration was truly about being left out or just about their ego being bruised. Sigma males aren't attached to control. They'll relinquish at the moment someone competent is ready to lead effectively. Their mindset is rooted in results, not recognition. In their view, action is always more valuable than debate, and clarity is worth more than consensus. Their unspoken philosophy is simple. If you won't lead, I will. If you can't decide, I will. If you'd rather talk than act, step aside. This focus on resolution over reputation can be frustrating to those who are more invested in appearances, titles, or processes. But for the Sigma male, progress always takes precedence over protocol. 6. They are mysteriously knowledgeable. The Sigma male's hidden depth. There's something quietly astonishing about the Sigma male's intellect. Unlike those who flaunt their knowledge or display their skills as a way to gain admiration, Sigma males tend to acquire and develop their expertise in silence. Their interests are often vast, their depth of understanding impressive, but they don't announce it. Instead, they let their knowledge sit beneath the surface, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the rare moment when it's actually needed or relevant. You could know a Sigma male for years and still have no idea he's fluent in multiple languages, hold a black belt in martial arts, or has an advanced grasp of complex scientific theories. And when these facts do surface, it often feels like a quiet revelation. This tendency to withhold their intellectual capabilities unsettles people for a variety of reasons. First, It breaks the expected order of social dynamics. In many circles, workplaces, friend groups, academic settings, there's often an unspoken ranking of who's perceived as the smartest or most skilled. When a Sigma male suddenly demonstrates unexpected mastery, it disrupts that hierarchy. The so-called smartest person in the room may no longer hold that title, and that shift can provoke subtle resentment or defensiveness. Second, people often misinterpret this hidden knowledge as deception. They wonder, why didn't he say anything before? The assumption is that people naturally share impressive traits to earn recognition. When a Sigma doesn't, others feel caught off guard, as if he withheld important truths or played some kind of intellectual trick. But the Sigma male doesn't think in those terms. He doesn't see his knowledge as a currency to trade for status. In fact, he often avoids drawing attention to himself entirely. Finally, the Sigma male's quiet intellect has a way of exposing the superficiality in others. His silence forces people to reflect on the quality of their interactions with him. Many realize they never thought to ask deeper questions, never dug beneath the surface, and never truly saw the person in front of them. It's not that the Sigma male was hiding. It's that others weren't looking closely enough. His reasons for keeping his wisdom tucked away are rooted in authenticity. He learns for the joy of understanding, not for performance. He has no interest in appearing superior or gaining praise. He dislikes showboating and finds self-promotion hollow. To him, knowledge is valuable only when it serves a purpose, whether that's solving a problem, defending someone in need, or enriching a meaningful conversation. When a Sigma male does reveal what he knows, it's never to impress, it's to contribute. His knowledge emerges only when it's useful, when it adds something meaningful to the moment. And in that restraint lies part of his power, a quiet depth that's often underestimated, yet unmistakable once it's revealed. 7, they don't chase, even when they're wanted. The Sigma male's approach to dating and relationships. In the world of modern dating, a familiar dynamic often plays out. One person initiates interest, the other pulls back to test devotion, and the first responds by doubling down, texting more, trying harder, chasing affection. This script is deeply embedded in dating culture, often fueled by ego, social conditioning, and a desire for validation. But Sigma males have little interest in playing this game. Even if they're genuinely drawn to someone, attracted, intrigued, emotionally invested, they will not resort to chasing or begging for reciprocation. The traditional rules of courtship don't appeal to them, especially when those rules revolve around power plays, attention-seeking, or emotional manipulation. Sigma males won't bombard someone with texts, overextend themselves to win affection, or compete for attention with other potential partners. Their stance is not rooted in coldness but in self-respect. They believe that mutual interest should unfold naturally and honestly, without performance or pressure. If someone is truly interested, the connection will be evident, and it will be reciprocated with openness and clarity. If not, the Sigma male will not waste his time trying to convince someone of his worth. He understands that authentic connection can't be forced, and if it requires relentless pursuit, it probably wasn't real in the first place. This hands-off approach often confuses, and even frustrates, those who are used to being pursued. Many interpret the Sigma male's restraint as a lack of care. If he really liked me, they reason, he would fight for me. Others take it as a form of arrogance, assuming the Sigma thinks himself too important or emotionally unavailable. And because he doesn't spill his emotions early or wears hard on his sleeve, some accuse him of being closed off or hard to read. What they're often missing, however, is the deeper logic behind the behavior. To the Sigma male, emotional dignity matters more than temporary desire. His philosophy is direct and grounded. If you're interested, you'll engage. If not, no amount of begging will change that. He refuses to chase because he values equality in relationships. Two people meeting one another with honesty, interest, and mutual respect. He won't play the fool just to win someone's attention. And ironically, this self-contained strength only makes him more attractive to those who recognize real confidence. The Sigma male doesn't avoid intimacy. He avoids unnecessary drama. He doesn't fear love. He fears pretense. And he doesn't reject people. He simply lets go of anything that doesn't flow naturally. In a dating world filled with facades and forced roles, his quiet refusal to chase becomes a radical act of self-worth. and often the very thing that draws others closer. Conclusion: the Sigma male's role in society, the lone rebel who exposes a norm. Sigma males are often misunderstood, not because they intend to cause confusion or discomfort, but because their very existence challenges a fabric of social norms. They are not antisocial in the traditional sense. They are not misanthropes or emotionally closed off. Rather, they are anti-pretension, anti-performative, and deeply uninterested in the artificial behaviors that dominate most social interactions. They strip away the layers of small talk, status games, and ego battles, opting instead for authenticity, logic, and integrity. And in doing so, they often provoke reactions that reveal just how invested society is an illusion. Their behaviors can seem abrasive at first glance. They reject hollow pleasantries and emotional theatrics. They don't bow to authority unless it's earned. They remain silent where others overshare, act where others hesitate, and lead where others cling to approval. In a world increasingly obsessed with appearances, where being liked often matters more than being honest, the Sigma male straightforwardness is frequently mistaken for arrogance or hostility. But it isn't cruelty that drives them. It's clarity. It's a refusal to dilute themselves just to fit in. The discomfort they stir in others is revealing. It highlights how deeply society has normalized inauthenticity, how much we value politeness over honesty, appearance over substance, compliance over independence. When Sigma males don't conform to these standards, people feel threatened, not because the Sigma male is dangerous, but because he forces them to confront their own masks. He doesn't flatter egos or play into insecurities, and that makes him difficult to manipulate, label, or predict. And yet, the very traits that alienate Sigma males from conventional social circles, independence, self-mastery, deep competence, and moral conviction, are the ones most often romanticized and admired. People celebrate individualism in theory, but fear it in practice, especially when it walks into the room without apology or need for validation. Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote, "The individual has always had a struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe." The Sigma male is that individual, the quiet rebel who walks against the tide, not out of defiance for its own sake, but out of an unwavering commitment to self-authenticity. He refuses to be overwhelmed, domesticated, or deluded by the expectations of collective. And though he may walk alone, he walks in truth, reminding society that real strength isn't found in applause or approval, but in knowing who you are and never needing to prove it. Do you resonate with the ideas I shared in this video? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you're interested in more content about Sigma males, explore the other videos on this channel. Thanks for watching.